All around you, every day, in our communities here in Alabama, there are people working to make sure that every child has a chance to grow up in a healthy, loving, and nurturing home. They might be visiting a new parent in a hospital, talking with a group of fathers who are struggling to meet their child support obligations, teaching children about ways to recognize sexual abuse and what to do, helping teens in an after-school program learn better ways to manage their anger, sending a parent of a child with disabilities off to do something on their own while the child is cared for in a loving environment. There are people offering a couple information on better ways to communicate so that their home can be a place of peace for them and for their children. And there are people talking with a group of parents of preschoolers about children's needs and about ways to discipline their children in a positive, nurturing way. This is just some of the work of programs funded through the Alabama Department of Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention, the Children's Trust Fund. CTF, which also serves as the state chapter of Prevent Child Abuse America, was established by the Alabama legislature in 1983 to address the state's growing problem of child neglect and maltreatment. While there are several state agencies that deal with the different aspects of child abuse, none of them specifically focuses on solving the problem before it occurs. As Alabama's only state agency designated to prevent child abuse and neglect through education and support programs, CTF provides annual funding awards through a competitive process to community-based organizations throughout the state. These organizations provide programs on parenting, home visitation, fatherhood, relationship and marriage education, respite care, mentoring, community awareness, and child and youth programs. Marion Lofton, Director of the Alabama Department of Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention, the Children's Trust Fund.
This state agency has one single focus, and that is preventing child abuse and neglect before it can occur. The grantee organizations are those people out in the field, in the local community, that work hand in hand with the families and the children who are there in their area. They are sometimes nonprofits, sometimes a school system. They're sometimes faith-based. There are many different kinds of agencies that have a program that is evidence-based to work with children and families so that they will be strong and children will be protected. My favorite part is going out into one of our communities and seeing our program, seeing the faces on the parents that are involved, seeing the joy on the children that are involved, hearing the teachers say, "You all undergird what we do in the classroom. Thank you, thank you. This child is so much better off because of the help you gave his parents who were having all kind of conflict within that home, and because of programs like the Alabama Community Healthy Marriage Initiative, this couple learned that, you know, we really do love each other and we can get along and we can enjoy our children and be a better parent and a better home for our children."
The impact of CTF-funded programs is felt in our communities in very real and tangible ways.
Now, we, over the past 3 or 4 or 5 years, have also seen our reporting numbers go up. And I really like to think that it has to coincide with the mandatory reporting presentation, that more people are aware that you're supposed to report by law, and they are doing it.
It has been amazing to watch students get it, really, really get it. And not just get it for the day, like when you would cram for a test in college and you could pass it the next day, but if you were tested a week later, you know, it was history. But get it for weeks later, get it for months later.
I know that our program is making a difference because the turnover rate has decreased drastically, and the number of kids we have graduating from high school and going on to college or tech school have increased.
And one of the main ways that it impacts the students at Brewton Middle School is it provides support for them academically and for life skills, but it also provides support to their parents when the parents are not able to help their children in homework issues in the afternoon. We provide that for them. It also provides the school system an avenue for which to refer students so that they can be assisted. Then you form the partnership between the parent and the school. So I think we serve as a buffer, a connector, and I think that that impact can be felt in the school system, but it also is felt in the lives and the peace that parents can have in knowing that their children are getting quality support.
Our Family Connections program has been an extremely effective way of helping families to better communicate, to manage stress, to manage their finances, all those issues that we know can cause stress in a relationship and can result in negative behaviors and in challenges and risks for children.
Judge Powell informed me the other day that child support payments have doubled since we started this program. They were getting in somewhere in the area of $40,000 to $50,000 in child support payments. Now it's reached $80,000. Does the program work? It works. It's not just getting these guys in to pay child support. We are actually changing lives, and this is what I love about this program.
Respite is that one service that is actually for the caregiver that's caring for a child with a special need. The studies have shown that just a little bit of respite on a consistent basis makes a world of difference to a family.
Parenting a child with a disability can be overwhelming, and Hearts not only equips families to recognize a need for a break, but they also enable families to take that much needed break.
I mean, we have found cases of where a child is being abused that it was not known up until that point. We're here to really work with children and to make sure that they are safe and have good homes and something to eat and clothes and education.
CASA can be there not necessarily to enforce court's orders, but to let the court know here's the problems this family's facing in order to be a family again, and allows the court to make referrals to get the resources to that family to be together again.
As a judge, I depended on the information that was provided to me by CASA volunteers. I needed to know whether those children were in dangerous circumstances, and but for the report of a CASA volunteer, I may not really know what's going on with that child because there's nobody monitoring the circumstances and the complaints that have been made about potential abuse and neglect of children.
Our program helps change family relationships from adversarial to nurturing, and it changes parents from confused to confident.
There's never a year that we don't have parents that say, "You saved us. You made a difference. Thank you for being there."
Every child is important. Every parent is important. Every family is important. The Children's Trust Fund programs make a difference.
This is one of the most compelling statements I've ever heard from a child, and this is what she said. "If you had not come to my classroom on Thursday, I would not have known what to do on Friday night."
A 5th grade student actually, after the program, after we talked about child abuse, come up to me and say, "You know what, I think that last one happened to me," and the last one that we talk about is sexual abuse, but knew that something bad had happened to her, but didn't know the name, didn't know how to classify it, didn't know that you're supposed to tell somebody, and as a result she reported it, and then of course it was turned over to the authorities.
There's one female student, and she was struggling. She actually was making D's on her report card in several subjects, and she was having a hard time. She's one of those kinds of students that I was telling you about that just needs that extra assistance in the afternoons, and she has pulled her grades up to where she makes mainly A's and B's. So you just feels so much better about herself, and that program has made all the difference to her.
I had the pleasure of participating in the graduation at the Childersburg Correctional Facility about 4 months ago, and I got to meet the families, and I got to meet those individuals that are incarcerated, and the stories that they told of how this program had impacted in their lives was amazing. But more importantly was when the warden came to me and says, "Can you do more?"
If she hadn't came in the picture, we would not know what to do, how to take care of a baby. Because, nobody, I've had help taking care of him, but not this kind of help.